A function can accept any number of input parameters of any type. They just need to be specified within the parentheses at the start of the function definition. In this case, we can't use type inference, but we are required to declare the type of each parameter. Of course, if no parameters need to be passed to the function, just don't put anything between the parentheses. These parameters are called internal parameters, meaning they are used just inside the function body. Sometimes, when calling a function, it can be useful to name each parameter rather than just passing its value. That's where external parameters come into play. External parameters are specified by adding their names before the internal parameter's name. The first parameter will be used when passing values to the functions, while the second internal parameter will be used just within the function's body. External parameters are optional, but can be used to make code much more readable. Be aware that parameters need to be passed in the same order as they are declared in the function. Doing otherwise will result in an error condition. Okay, let's have a look at functions. Let's make a service variable t, which is going to be a string. And let's define our first function, which is going to be welcome func. To declare the function, I'm going to write the name of my function and brackets. This function is not going to accept any parameters, so I just write the two parentheses, then curly braces, and I will have the body of my function. And purpose of this function will just to change the value of t. That will say t will be hello function. There's something wrong here. What's the problem? The problem is that I'm using a string t that has been declared but not initialized. So if I declare strings or any other variables, it's better to use optionals. We've seen before optionals, they're a very powerful feature of Swift that makes it a safe language. So I just make string optional. So now string is nil and my function is happy because it knows that t is somehow, not initialized, it has a nil value, so it's not in a kind of undefined state. And now t can be assigned a value, hello function. Now if I call the function, I just need to write the name, welcome, the two parentheses, and that's it. And you see that now t has the value hello function. Now I want to make this a little bit more personal. So I'm going to pass a parameter to this function, the name, the person I want to welcome, which is going to be a string. Remember, we can't use type inferencing in passing parameters to functions, so you always need to declare the name and the type of the variable. And now t is going to be hello, and I'm going to use string interpolation to append my name. Okay, there's something wrong here because I'm calling the function like before, but now my function is demanding an argument. I need to pass some parameters to the function. So I'm going to say welcome Steve, and Steve is passed to welcome and used inside the function. Okay, now I want to add another function that is going to calculate the area of a rectangle. So func area, I'm going to pass two parameters to this function, x, which is going to be a floating point number, and y, which is going to be another floating point number. So now t equals rectangle area is x times y. Now if we call this function area 3.2 and 8.2, rectangle area is 26.2399. X and Y are internal parameters. I can also use and define and use external parameters. So I'm going to specify height and width of my rectangle. And these are going to be external parameters used to call the function. As you see, I get an error here because I have to specify height will be 3.2 and width will be 8.2. Let's say here 7.2, sorry. Basically, that doesn't change anything, the working on the function, but it adds readability to your code. Also be careful that parameters have to be passed in the same way as they're accepted by the function. So if you write area width 3.2, height 4.4, I get an error condition because parameters are not passed in the same order as are defined. And if you see the error, argument height must precede argument width. They have to be swapped. So and now he's happy.